welcome back, folks. I am the Dragon Rider. I will be doing your play-by-play casting for this series here. Joining me today is Caged, the Reaper. How are you doing today, buddy?
Doing pretty good. We just had a wild series between Anarchy Navy and Team Billy. I'm really excited to see if the eBROS and the Apes can keep it going.
Yeah, so we got our Noxus division finals here against what Reaper just said here. eBROS versus Apes together strong. Super excited to see what these two teams have to bring to the table. They've always in the past have brought like very interesting and kind of like niche champions to the Rift, and I'm super excited what they're gonna bring to the final series of their division here.
On the side of Apes Together Strong, we have Cyanite, Randomonium, King Majora, Kazu, and Uncle's Alone Time facing off against eBROS, who have Jelly Roll in the top lane, Scrambles in the jungle, Thunderstorm mid lane, Duvronga at ADC, and Gid Shadeslayer as the support.
Yeah, and without further ado, let's quickly look over the picks and bans of this first game here.
And it looks like eBROS suffering a 2-ban punishment. I think that they got a late season permanent substitution that cost them 2 bans through all of the playoffs, but I don't recall.
Oh, so that's what that's doing there. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I was kind of curious on what that was there for, and that makes more sense now that I see that and hear that. But we do see the Jace top side here. You don't really see Jace often, and for it to be first pick flexed is a really good statement coming from eBROS, saying that they've practiced this champion a lot and ready to see what they can do with it against Apes Together Strong. How do you feel about all these lane matchups that we're about to see?
Well, I look down the list and I see that you've got the Zac first pick, which I know is a Scrambles special, and Amumu's a good pick into Zac, but not fantastic. The Swain seems a little bit odd to me, but if you know that Thunderstorm likes the Lissandra, that matchup seems kind of like a push, especially because Swain is such a common support right now. It could have been a little sneaky. I like the Gnar pick, especially when they turn around and ban Darius and Urgot in the next wave. That's really big because it secures what should be a decent matchup if you don't realize that there's going to be a Jace sneaking onto the Rift at the last minute. The Lovers duo locked in simultaneously by eBROS also, so they come out with a really strong team fighting comp with the Zac, Xayah, Rakan in their first 3. I think that you got a really, really cohesive draft from eBROS. They know what they want to do. They want a team fight, and they want to put Jace off in the side to do Jace things. Apes Together Strong, we'll see. It's kind of an odd comp that they're running. They also have good team fight synergy, but are a little bit less traditional in a lot of the champions that they're playing, with the Swain mid and the Lux support. And even the Amumu jungle is a little bit of an oddball to see.
Very interesting. So let's quickly jump over to the Rift now and have these two teams face off. All right, jumping right into the game here. I think we'll probably see just a typical 5 points, and we actually might see something interesting happening. You do see the Lissandra, you do see the Jace all coming down potentially for a bot invade here. So, Cage, what do you expect to see from the early stages of the game here? What do you expect to see both these teams try and pull off?
I really want to see a lot of attention from Jelly Roll and Scrambles up in the top lane, trying to make sure that the Jace doesn't get punished early and they can use that champion to its fullest extent. The mid lane and the bot lane really scale up a little bit. They want a little bit of time. Lissandra wants a couple of items, and then they want a team fight. I want to see their whole team around objectives. That's what eBROS need to do to win this. And as long as they can avoid any like kind of cheesy, catchy stuff out of the Lux, the Amumu, and the Swain, I think that they're in a pretty good position after draft.
Yeah, I do really like a comp there that you can get a lot of good picks. And then the Zyra Khan alone is going to be a very powerful lane. How do you think that favors against the Ashe Lux?
I think that the Zyra Khan probably loses a little bit in the early game, but the Zyra Khan, the Lovers duo, is absolutely a destructive force pretty much all game long, and I would like to see if they can manage to kind of turn it on after about 5-10 minutes.
Yeah. We do see a little bit of an engage going in from the bot side. The Rakan going in with E, but not quite landing it on the Ashe there. She does have to flash out of that. They do blow heal as well. So that's going to be 2 summoners down for the Lush Axe. And so Zach could potentially do a really cheesy gank pretty early on to grab a pick for the side of eBROS.
He could, but it would be sacrificing a lot, especially since he's into an Amumu, who he doesn't know is doing this really kind of unique clear. I don't know why Amumu opted to full clear red side, but probably is going to try to full clear red side and back for blue side, trying to rush level 6 as much as possible. But it would be a big risk and a big sacrifice by Zach to try to get that gank off that early, although he might look for a gank here mid on the Swain.
Yeah, he does look like he is posing for it. We do see him on the minimap. Mumu actually backing there. They are going to be getting the engage onto the Zac. They do the E-W combo, trying to CC him down, but he is going to be able to flash away from that to safety. You do see a little engage happening from bot as well. Rakan running really low here, and both summoners, the ignite, the flash from Lux. So bot lane, no summoners.
So that's kind of what you expect from this lane. Is if Rakan can get in successfully, they have a good trade, but there's a lot more poke and trade potential coming out of the Ashe and the Lux, especially early, that's going to make it hard for the Lovers duo to sustain in this bot lane. But it looks like Randomonium here trying to equal out some of the summoner spells, looking to make a play on Thunderstorm. But that's just kind of a questionable one with... Oh!
Ooh, another engage going in on the mid lane there with a Mumu there with a TP coming down from Gnar. Are we going to be able to see the first blood happen here? We do get the E engage from the Gnar, going to be jumping off a minion, going to be trying to get that Zac passive out of there, but they aren't going to be able to grab a kill. Very quick reaction time coming in from the Gnar, but now he doesn't have TP, and Jace is going to have some free farm top lane.
So I like the idea of Randomonium coming to try to equal out summoners a bit, but the problem is you can't really gank Alessandra unless they make a mistake and over-engage. So he sees Thunderstorm E forward, thinks that he's going to be able to get a favorable gank and trade in because the disengage is gone from the Alessandra. But unfortunately, Scrambles also identified that as where the trade had to happen and was right there to turn it around. Plus with the TP from the Gnar, they kind of guaranteed that nothing was going to happen there.
Yeah, a lot of poke coming out from the Jace here. I don't think we've really talked about the Jace too much as a laning phase. How do you think that favors against the Gnar here?
You know, my top lane isn't the strongest. I'm more of a jungler and a mid laner. I think that a lot of it really doesn't help when you hammer form forward into a turret. But I think that generally speaking, Jace is a better lane bully than Gnar, and the way that Jace trades should be a favorable lane for Jace into the Gnar, at least early. I think after a couple of items that might swing because Gnar becomes less easily killable than Jace. So it's really going to depend on how the junglers and the teams play around him with a tank jungler on both sides of the rift.
Yeah. Another thing to note, this is going to be patch 10.14 as well here. And so 13? Yeah, sorry, Mr. Producer just corrected me. 10.13 here, so we do see the bot laners both opting out for the relic shields here, which is really nice. It's a safer option than getting the spell thieves, which I like a lot, especially even for someone like a Lux here. Getting that is just, if the spell thief's just way too dangerous right now, especially in a little bit more competitive play where you're going to be ganked a lot, because if you go spell thieves and you get ganked, it's you're not going to get the full amount, or you're not getting your money's worth, that's for sure.
Yeah, and a little bit of cursory research I did shows that really Gnar and Jace is a pretty even skill matchup. So they go kind of even with each other as they offset the opposite strengths, and neither one has a clear-cut advantage. So it is really going to come down to the attention paid by the junglers. But right now it seems like both junglers have a focus on their mid and bot lane, content to just let the top laners kind of duke it out, which I think in the long run probably favors Gnar.
We're going to get an engage E going on to the Lux here. They are going to be picking up first blood for Rakan. eBROS grabbed the lead, but we do see an Amumu immediately coming down to respond to this. Ash is poking down to Zac pretty heavily here. They do have the potential, if they get Zac to go back, they can go grab the first dragon in response to the first blood.
A little bit upset that the Amumu threw Q that early. For people who don't know, because I played mid predominantly in this league, I have more mastery points on Amumu than any other champion. And Amumu is almost like Blitzcrank in that you don't want to throw the Q unless you're 1000% sure it's going to land.
Now, we do see an engage going on to Swain. He does have level 6, so he's super tanky. They did really get a nice read onto him, but I'm not sure if they have the damage to take him out. Oh, baby, there's the kill. The tip of his ultimate, taking out the Lissandra with the last tick of HP there, and that's going to be a kill going over to Apes Together Strong.
Really good play out of Majora there to make that happen. And seeing Zac in the mid lane, knowing Jace is low, they're going to continue to be able to push top. Seeing that TP come out guarantees them a free dragon here.
Yeah, and they get dragon out of that. Salt in the wounds here. Really great play for Apes Together Strong. Both teams are really coming out and showing what they have and why they're in the finals.
Yeah, eBROS trying to send a lot of pressure around that Lissandra, recognizing that Lissandra as a champion, really the only strengths of the champion are what it can do to set up the rest of the team. So it really needs support early on, unlike Swain, who is capable of dishing out his own damage. So it's really, really interesting to see the way that these teams are playing around these kind of non-traditional picks. But a really good read to make the lane swap and send their bot lane to the top. Unfortunately for them, Scramble's already on this Rift Herald here. Might get it away before the lane swap has the ability to transfer pressure across the map.
Do you see the engage with the flat from Ash? They're going to be able to pick up the Jace pretty cleanly. Really nice pick. They are going to be on the Shelly as well. They should be picking this one up before the Lux can notice. Are they on it? No, they're on the Scuttlecraft. Oh no, they were on Shelly, okay. So they do pick that one up. The Zac is going to be plopping his passive, and I'm not sure he's going to be able to live from this. Who are they going to give the kill to? It's going to be the Ashe here. Really good pick, but they do have the Shelly to potentially get some extra turret plates before the 14-minute mark.
Causeway and Uncle's alone time from Apes Together Strong, both with some really great flash forward ultimate combos to secure a couple of kills here to really keep this gold graph even, despite the fact that Scrambles was able to sneak away that Rift Herald. And it really kind of depends on how much he's able to get with this Rift Herald. If he's able to get 3 plates or more, his death is actually not bad to secure that Rift Herald.
Yeah, if you consider that they, like about 12 minions worth of gold is the same amount of as a kill there, that you get 2 turret plates just off of Shelly alone. So that in itself is going to be really helpful if they're going to be able to get it in a lane and get money going to one of the potential carries here.
And really good job by Scrambles identifying that with the bot lane switched up into top, there's a really good opportunity to make a Rift Herald play here that the Gnar can't counter. And they're just walking up with that vision denial. Gonna try to force this turret, gonna get at least 3 plates, maybe first turret if they play this right.
Yeah, Gnar's gonna have to engage and try and grab a pick there. The Rakan actually getting turret aggro. You do see an Ashe ulti into a Lux ulti top lane. The Ignite going down, the kill going over to the Ashe. Gnar having to flash away. Zai is going in. She gets up in the flash. She goes for the Q. She does get the kill onto Gnar. And then we have some action going down mid lane. They are most likely going to be grabbing the first turret here, but Amumu shows up to cancel the party, if you will. And great plays all around the map right now. Everything just went down all at the same time.
Yeah, really, really well coordinated by eBROS to try to get that first turret take. And they managed to get their dive off excellently. In the top lane, the Causeway and Uncle's alone time also really punishing a jelly roll for trying to stay around on that Jace, and eBROS for leaving him up there. I would have thought that he would have been able to kind of just sit back and farm that one out safely, but it looks like they managed to land a really good combo on him to get him down.
Yeah, and they did pick up about 4 turret plates bot lane, distributed between 3 members, the Xayah, Rakan, and the Zac there. So that's all really good money, really good. Just objective-wise, they should be able to get right back into the game, having a little bit less money, but are going to be able to grab potentially more turret plates being topside. They do another swap, trying to grab more turret plates for their Xayah or Rakan. I feel like they have the Xayah as a potential win con here, and they want to feed her as much money as possible.
It's going to be really interesting to see how this works out for them, though, as the Dragon is going to come up, making this kind of a risky trade if they don't get enough turret plates off of it.
You see a nice engage and then re-engage from the Xayah Rakan, and the Gnar even actually using his ulti onto the Rakan there. Unfortunately, wasn't able to take out all the minions to get the Rakan to have more turret aggro than he needed to be to grab the kill, but it was surely a really good trade from both sides here. You do see the Lissandra actually popping ult in the trade against Sion here, so we do see a little bit of an advantage of Apes Together Strong having more ultis available, but we do have the engage. Lux ulti going out, not able to land anyone. Mumu going in, going to be grabbing the Xayah, the Rakan with a nice double ulti going down, and that should be a Dragon immediately after that.
So Randomonium, after a bunch of wide Qs, lands one that really matters, gets a great ulti off of it, and is going to enable his team to push some turret plates here while taking the Dragon at the same time.
They do pick up the kill on Lissandra. She does go up into her turret, trying to get a nice pick onto the Lux, onto the Swain, but Swain's really tanky and has a really good lockdown potential with the Lux there. They're going to even pick up the Lissandra underneath their own turret.
Yeah, it's a wild one in this game right now, with just really, really good control of the map being demonstrated by Apes Together Strong, and just some really unfortunate split decision by eBROS where they almost are getting their plays off, but just a second behind the pace.
Yeah, let's quickly talk about Dragon here and how is this going to affect the game. And you do see the early drags going over to Apes Together Strong, and it's going to be an Infernal Soul as well, so that's going to be really helpful for extra damage, extra potential burst with their combos as well. How do you think that favors, and how do you think eBROS needs to respond to counteract the early drags?
I think this third Dragon fight is going to be a really big one for eBROS, but the thing that they have going for them is they're reaching a strong point in all of their champions' curves, where right now Kazue is up a decent amount of gold, about 300 or 400 on Devranga, and has that Bork finish while Devranga's still sitting on a BF sword. But by the time this third Dragon spawns, we should see the first item done on the Xayah, and if that coincides with a really good engage,
Mumu's kind of stuck out here. He's going to get caught up and taken out of the fight. We do see the Swain going in. You do see the TP going down with the immediate Gnar is going to be Megaform, getting a nice ulti onto only the Jace here. They do get the shut down onto the Swain. The Xayah going to be picking that up. Xayah's looking for more blood. She's so low. The Lux actually picking up the Xayah. Jace is going to see if he can do anything. He can't do anything. Gnar picks that up. And now they're going to be looking to try and see if they can get the Zac here. He does not have passive. Is he going to be able to escape? Scrambles away. And they're going to be picking up the Shelly. So really good win on the side of Apes Together Strong.
But you know, you really can't complain too much about it if you're on eBRO's side right now. They managed to pull 2 for 3 out of that fight, but they're the ones that walked away with a big shutdown onto their carry. So all of a sudden now, Xayah sitting at the exact same gold amount as Kazue, and that fight went down without Essence Reaver being finished yet on the Xayah. It's going to be really, really important to see how this goes forward, because the Xayah getting all the gold that she did out of that fight might be what eBROS needs to come back and really make a push in this one.
Yeah, it's really good that you said that because you do see the gold differential. Just not it's about 2K right now, and it's not a significant amount that's going to change the course of the whole game. You do see the 10-4 on the side of Apes Together Strong, but like you said, that is going to be really powerful for this next fight, and she did not have Essence Weaver for that engage.
And really, of note, almost the entire 2,000 gold lead is on the Swain in the middle lane here. King Majora significantly above Thunderstorm, but with the way that they want to play the game, that actually is in favor of eBROS because they can easily kite and maneuver around a Swain. Swain's damage is really hard to get off unless you full commit, or Randomonium on the Amumu lands a fantastic engage.
You see 4 members posturing towards this start mid there. They are going to grab a pick there. Nice loss into a Q from Amumu. Going to be landing the 3-man ultimate onto the Swain, onto the Rakan, onto the Zac. The Rakan's going to fall short. Ash is doing the damage, getting a nice double kill onto the Zac, onto the Lissandra, and they're going to be picking up another kill here. They do drop the Shelly, and that should be 2 turret plates. I mean, 2 turrets, rather. Potentially even cracking open the base, depending on how well they play this out.
So, that kind of just perfectly showed what we were talking about, where the Xayah was able to kite out the Swain, and if the rest of the team hadn't gotten caught so hard by a great 3-man Amumu ult, that fight maybe goes differently. So this game is really going to heavily depend on Ashe arrows and Amumu ults and Gnar ults to set up the Swain to do damage here. Because Swain by himself doesn't really have the tools to get in the way that he needs to.
Yeah, we do see the Dragon coming up in about 5 seconds here. I don't think they're going to be able to really get this. The Apes Together Strong, they haven't reset actually, so it might be different, but Mega Gnar is going to be coming up. They should be able to take this Dragon. I believe Amumu has the level lead, so he would win the smite fight. But if they are able to pick off the Amumu before this all goes down, they might be able to steal this. Here comes the Zac with the steal! Oh my word, he does pick up the Infernal Dragon. They are going to be picking up the Amumu. Scramble's not going to get out with his life. Ash is going to be picking up a triple onto Lissandra, onto Zac, onto Rakan. They're going to try and see if they can get for more, but that is a huge win on the side of eBROS. They may have lost 3 members there, but they are not going to be giving up soul points, that's for sure.
There's only one reason why that was worth it from eBROS. Normally, I would say that suiciding more than 1 member for 3rd Dragon is never worth it, but the fact that it's only 19 minutes and Baron isn't up yet means that they were able to steal away that soul point threat without giving up Baron. And normally when you're worried about that 3rd Dragon point, Baron is your #1 concern after it. And in this case, I think that they might have wanted to get away with only losing 1 or 2, but they did manage to pick up Randomonium on the backside. So it's not a complete wash for them, but you would have hoped that they would have been able to either get 1 more kill or lose 1 less person to make that play.
Yeah, we're going to see Baron, like you said, going to be coming up in 10 seconds here. Do you expect like an early Baron, potentially like some cheese coming out from the side of Apes Together Strong? They do have a good early advantage. Do you think they could potentially even take that away with a Baron?
So looking at the way that Amumu and Gnar are built and the fact that Swain hasn't finished Leandries yet, they do have a good Baron take with their 9-0 Ashe and the Bork and Hurricane finish, but I don't think it's worth the risk involved. Especially, you just lost what should have been a secure 3rd Dragon. You've got to figure that your jungler's a little bit in their own head. And after watching Scrambles E in to steal that, if Scrambles E's in and steals a Baron, all of a sudden this game's reset. So I would like to see them either bait the Baron or just fall back to controlling the game. They have an open inhibitor to take. That should be their priority, especially given that they want to kind of fight as a team and force things.
Yeah, they, like you said, the open inhibitor is just so many slew of new options that they can do and have so many different ways to win this game. I'm not sure if it's necessarily on like when they're going to win, but it's going to be how they're going to win because they have so many different options.
Well, I mean, you know, I would have thought that if I hadn't watched this morning's games where we watched a 11 and a 6,000 gold lead just evaporate. off of a couple of interesting plays. So it'll be real interesting. It's on Apes Together Strong here to manage the map well. They definitely have the ability to get picked off and blown up, especially in a situation like this one mid.
Ooh, are they going to be able to get the Ashe? She does have to flash away. Lux is also flashing. Here comes the Rakan ultimate, but is going to be stunned by the Ashe ultimate underneath the turret. The Gnar actually going to be caught out here. He does TP into the middle of their whole team. They're going to be picking up a huge shutdown onto the Ashe. That's going to be going over to the Jace. Jack passive going down. Rakan going to be taking up some nice start damage. Zaya's not going to be able to live with her life there. The Lux is going to be picking up the Zaya and be picking up the Zac here. The turret, truly the advantageous one here in this team fight.
So eBROS almost pulled that off really well, and then they blew it at the last second. And you got to figure a 2 for 3 for them is a good trade at the moment, especially given the fact that they pulled 2 huge shutdowns onto their 2 primary damage sources in the Jace and the Zaya. But you watch Zaya burn flash and still fall to the turret. You watch Scrambles run back under the turret, I think to try to save the Zaya, but it was too late there also. And so you wind up losing 2 on a dive that was almost perfectly clean, just off of a little bit of mismanagement of aggro of the turret. And that's gotta hurt, especially when you're trying to close the gold lead. But they do manage to close almost 1,200 of the lead, so it's back within about 4,000.
Yeah, we do see Dragon going to be coming up very soon. It's going to be respawning about 30 seconds here. So we're going to be looking for a huge team fight, I think. There's going to be a lot of picks that are going to need to go down for this Dragon to be turned over to the end of the team.
So this Dragon fight is going to be a really interesting one because as far as Apes go, it's not worth a throw. If they have to give this Dragon up and they can trade it for Baron, that's a really good play for them here. And for eBROS, it's really dangerous for them to contest this Dragon. This Dragon isn't worth them dying and potentially losing Baron over. So we might see this Dragon kind of last unless a big team fight occurs. Neither team really benefits from trying to force the Dragon at this point.
Yeah, we do see Lissandra top. I think they actually just might... No, here comes the Lissandra TP. They do not want to give up Soul Point. I was thinking that potentially they might just go for the extra money in this case, but they really do not want to give Apes Together Strong any more advantages than they have right now.
See, and after watching the Lissandra TP come out, and they have TP on the Jace here, I would like to see eBROS send somebody back to a side lane again and attempt to take advantage of their TP advantage. Or I would like to see Apes try to make a play up towards this Baron. The Dragon isn't really worth it for either team at this point, but the fight's going to go.
They are going to be engaging onto the Zac, though, kind of caught out by the Gnar there. There's the Lissandra. She's going to be ulting in. She's going to be trying to get some lockdown potential. The Zaya's going to be picking off the huge damage dealer Ashe. Down goes Rakan to Gnar, and you do see Zaya finding off the Swain and the Gnar. Is she going to be able to live? Absolutely not. Here comes the Jace, though, coming in from downtown, going to be able to pick up the last couple members here, and a huge win on the side of eBROS.
Yeah, absolutely massive fight there. Scrambles actually gets caught in the front line, but Apes Together Strong, not realizing that they're getting flanked, burn a lot onto the Zac, only to have a Lissandra land a 4-man W in their backline, followed by Rakan's ultimate engage, the quickness coming through. Oh. Wait, what?
Lissandra's down.
Laser? Lux laser?
Laser beam, shot out, down goes Ice Woman.
Well, that's not great. That changes things a little bit, but so that's a perfect example of why fighting around this objective isn't necessarily the best. The way that the teams are set up, the reverse pit actually almost favors eBROS in that it forces Apes to channel themselves somewhere they don't necessarily want to be. And with the big AoE, even with their jungler and their primary tank down, they're able to take advantage of a winning fight. But Lissandra's down here, and Apes are going to try to force this. As they see the Jace teleport in, they decide to back up before
they're going to be re-engaging. Here comes the E. Scramble! He's done it again! He's stealing another dragon. My word, Scrambles. How do you keep doing this? They are going to be picking up the Zach. They are going to be picking up the Rakan. Are they going to be able to grab more? I don't think so. But my word, Scrambles coming in huge this game, coming in clutch, not stealing one, but two Infernal Dragons away from Apes Together Strong. But like you said earlier, the Baron's going to be up and Scrambles is down. He can't potentially steal this well. He's like in Gray Screen Simulator. So this is going to be a Baron most likely going to be taking off towards for Apes Together Strong.
And this is a perfect example of a common mistake you see in low elo, where third dragon is dangerous, but it's not worth the throw, especially not when Baron's up. If you're gonna throw to secure an Elder Drake or a Baron or prevent a soul, that's fine. The minute it's third dragon, if you die like that, even getting the steal, you're basically gifting a free Baron over to the enemy team. And with the Rakan falling also for the steal, it really, really complicated the ability of eBROS to contest that Baron, and it put them in a really rough situation because they already are in a bad situation with their base.
Oh my word. As you were discussing all of this, you just see the Swain doing Swain things. Lissandra trying to E away, but then being pulled back over the wall, kind of clicking her back into her own demise there. And then the Zac almost potentially being picked off. They're going to try and go for the flank. Here goes the Jace. Here goes the Rakan trying to do some extra damage. They're going to try and pick off the Xayah. The Xayah is not going to be able to fall shortly. She is going to be able to get the Ashe. They are going to be able to get the Rakan in response. Here comes the Jace. They're going to be looking for more. The Swain and the Lux are the only ones to survive during this team fight. Zac's going to make them meet and is not actually going to be able to get him killed. Jace running really low, so it's really dangerous if he wants to go in. But Zac really wants to pick. He wants to try and get some more out of this.
A really, really good defensive play here by eBROS. I'm not entirely sure how Lissandra fell in the backline. Looks like minion damage might have done her in. But eBROS needed to make a play. They needed to make a stand there. And they really did an excellent, excellent job in peeling Baron off of 3 members and going even on a 3-for-3. That's the best you can hope for in a situation like that.
Yeah, now you're gonna see just a reset. All the objectives are down. Only 2 members of Apes Together Strong are going to have Baron here, which is going to be falling relatively soon, I'm pretty sure. I think in another minute or so. But you're gonna see just like a reset. There might be a couple picks here and there, but I'm not sure if there's gonna be anything major until the next objective.
So Apes Together Strong doing a really good job of taking the inhibitor before losing what should have been a less contested fight than it was. But the problem here is Apes Together Strong doing a really good job resetting, recognizing that they need to set up another team fight. They still have a little bit of Baron left, and they should really be focusing on grouping together and trying to make plays.
Ooh, Rakan going in, but he's not going to have the damage, so they're going to be able to pick him off almost immediately there. Are they going to be able to get the Nard? No, they're not. Lissandra's coming in, but it's going to be to her own demise. Zac's going to have to re-engage. She's running super low. Swain ulti going down. Amumu has not fallen. They're all so low, but they are going to live there. The Swain going to be falling down to the Lissandra. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to grab any more picks here, but my word, the managing of HP bars on this side of Apes Together Strong has been phenomenal this game. Seeing that team fight really exemplifies that in saying that they are able, when they're low, they go back. They have someone to go forward. It's almost like this masterpiece of artwork that we're watching as they do team fights.
Apes Together Strong, again, caught in a bit of a rough situation because of lack of vision. They get engaged on really well with another great quickness from Shadeslayer and Scrambles with a great E, but Shadeslayer and Scrambles pulling the trigger a little too soon. They didn't have the rest of their team there yet. They needed the Lissandra there, who didn't manage to TP down until halfway into the fight. And you hate to see it because eBROS has been playing so well, but they keep misfiring by about 2 or 3 seconds. And Apes Together Strong doing an excellent job of abusing that over aggression and misplay.
Rakan nearly dodging that Lux ultimate that would have taken him out this fight entirely. And you do see the Infernal is going to be coming up. It is going to be Infernal Soul Point for either team. So will Scrambles do it again? Or will he fall short, though?
Now would be a really good time for it if he was going to do it. There's no Baron up. The biggest concern that they have if he dies is the fact that they lose their base. But unfortunately, he's 1v5.
They're not going to have it. They're going to go immediately on to the Zac, so he cannot steal it. Put him in the gray screen of Demise, and they do pick up the Rakan. They do pick up the Zac. But Lissandra actually going in, going to be picked off pretty easily there. They might be low, but Lissandra can't take on 5 members by herself.
And this could have been game here if they decided to push it down and end. But they go for the Dragon Secure. They go for the high probability play.
Yeah, they're going to be picking up the Jace, putting that shutdown onto the Ashe again. Whereas Xayah actually going to have the ulti out of here. She's in a very dangerous spot. She might even get picked off because of the slows and the Qs from the Lux. But yeah, there it is. The Gnar going to be picking her up, going into Mega Gnar soon. And I think, honestly, that's going to be really hard for eBROS to come back from that. They weren't able to get the soul point. They weren't able to get the steal. And then they kind of just went in one after each other to try and grab a singular pick, but weren't able to get anything out of it. And you do see Apes Together Strong really doubling down on getting that advantage going and getting that inhibitor off and getting some extra turrets, more money into their pockets to a potential end game situation as soon as they back.
Yeah, eBROS here really with a little bit of misfiring. They keep trying to pull the trigger, but their team isn't there. They are pulling the trigger just a couple seconds too soon. You saw Lissandra was still walking there as Scrambles got engaged on that time. And so the Rakan is on the wrong side of the Zac, and Zac goes in, Rakan kind of straggles in, then Lissandra shows up. eBROS for their next game, because this one's just pretty much a systematic close away from being over, barring something colossal. I really want to see eBROS take a step back and say, all right, we played well, we stuck with the game pretty well, but we really need to get ourselves together. We're pulling the trigger a little too soon. We don't have our whole team in position. We're making greedy plays like this to try to get vision by ourselves.
Oh no, Rakan, baby. He has to flash over that wall for safety, but then they're going to do another re-engage with the Zac. Is he going to be caught out potentially here? Now, the Mumu going to be getting a 2-man stun, but then here goes the Rakan again, but he's not going to be able to take off any members. This Grain ulti going down, going to be picking up the Zac, going to be picking up the Zac, and that should be game. As soon as they put it down mid lane here, they have the minions, they have the potential, they have the numbers, and that's going to be potentially the GG for Apes Together Strong. Let's see how it plays out, though. Anything can happen. I've been wrong before in the past, but it's going to be really hard for eBROS to come back from this.
And see, that's a perfect example of what eBROS needs to try to take out of their game for the next one. Right now, they're running the solo queue special. They're big engage from Lissandra, but it's going to be too little, too late.
I don't think she's going to be able to get anyone off of that, and then you do see a Jelly Roll trying to make a desperate play to try and get someone. He does get the Mumu, but is not going to be able to pick off the other members, and GG going over to Apes Together Strong. Really well played and really well executed. So, Reaper, before we go into the next game, into the next break here, give us a rundown of this game and give us your takeaway with the MVP and ace of the game here.
All right, so eBROS needs to take a Xanax and reset and hit the slowdown button, because they did a really good job in early game kind of identifying what they were trying to do. Scrambles had a couple of really great steals, but they were disconnected. Their team needs to sit down and have a come to Jesus together, because Shade Slayer and Scrambles were on one page, and it felt like Thunderstorm and Jelly Roll were on a different page, and Duvronga's stuck in the middle. I don't like it when mommy and daddy fight. And that's how eBRO's game looked to me in that first game. So I'd like to see them really step it back and try to bring it together a little bit. I think that the Jace didn't really do what they wanted it to do. I think they dropped that by the wayside. I've got to give my MVP to Duvronga. because as much as Scrambles had a couple of clutch steals, Scrambles is also the one who was forward in the wrong place a couple of times, and it felt like the Xayah was doing absolutely everything within her power to carry. On the flip side, I hated Apes Together Strong draft. It was super, super dependent on really, really good arrows from Causeway and bindings from Uncle's Alone Time, or ultimates from Randomonium. And in the early game, a lot of those Amumu chains were going wide, and I thought that even with a little bit of pick from Majora and Randomonium, unless they had an excellent game or a really bad team fight from eBROS, they were going to struggle to scale into the game and struggle to stay relevant. Well, Uncle's Alone Time showed up and said, oh, wait, Uncle wants to have some alone time with all of you. And went off on that game. The Lux arrow, or the Lux lasers, the bindings. I mean, Causeway had a phenomenal game, but how much of that was set up by Lux? Absolutely lights out game from Uncle's Alone Time there. And that's not to take away from the rest of the team. Apes Together Strong really putting on a very good clinic of how to show up to objectives together, how to play as a team, kind of demonstrating the exact problem that we saw eBROS struggling with a little bit there.
Very well said, and very good game from both sides here. And when we come back, folks, we're going to game 2 of Apes Together Strong versus eBROS.
Stick around, should be a good one. Welcome back, SEAL community. I am Cage the Caged Reaper here with the Dragon Rider, bringing you Game 2 of the Noxian Finals between eBROS and Apes Together Strong. The last game was a barn burner. Why don't you recap us real quick, Ryder?
Yeah, so we had a great performance from both sides there. You just saw, like, the carries potential coming out just from the side of Apes Together Strong, just going in, getting those picks, getting those nice reads, and then the Lux just come in, laser, 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 laser. You get the Ash with perfect ultis almost every time. I think she only really missed one of them there. And then just getting good reads, getting good picks, getting good objectives. With Scrambles really trying to scramble up their mood there, with the Zac getting those nice steals, the beautiful plays. It was a really excellent performance by both teams, but then you do see Apes Together Strong coming out on top, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to be bringing and what they're going to be banning actually away from Apes Together Strong, and also what they're going to be banning away from the side of eBROS.
Well, the good news is they threw everything in a blender, and eBROS said, all right, the Amumu was a problem because their team comp doesn't work without Amumu. So let's get rid of it. The Swain, they can have it. We don't worry. So they banned the Amumu with their only first round ban. And in the second round, they banned the Ashe. They identify another really big pain point for them. So eBROS with a really good job on the draft, but everything else got thrown in a blender. Swain came back on Apes Together Strong, but is going into the bot lane to be Uncle's alone time support this time instead of mid for Majora. And I think part of that is in response to the Fizz pickup, because Diana into Fizz is a crazy lane that if you have faith in your Diana should win. eBRO's saying, all right, Lissandra didn't do enough for us. We're not picking that one up again. The Lovers duo left up again, but they decided that they didn't want the Rakan, instead opting into a Twitch Senna. Just absolutely wild draft coming out of these two teams this time around. ATS saying, you didn't show us anything to change our bans. They don't want the Volibear, they don't want the Brand, they don't want the Set, and they don't want the Darius in their game. All of those, toss them in the back. But they pick up the Sejuani, which honestly, people might argue with me, but I think is a better version of a Mumu. A little bit less damage, way more utility. The Vladimir comes through for Apes Together Strong, which is a champion that was banned against them last time. So eBROS didn't want to see this Vladimir top lane, and we're about to find out why, I think.
Yeah,
but
it's going to be really interesting. I'm really excited to see what they got and what they're going to be bringing. They got a lot of CC on the side of Apes Together Strong, and then they got a lot of pick potential on the side of eBROS.
The biggest thing I see swinging this is eBROS have a really good damage balance profile, and depending on how Wukong and Gangplank build, Apes Together Strong is almost 100% magic damage. Even Ezreal, it brings a lot of magic damage, and that could wind up being their downfall depending on how this game goes. But let's load onto the Rift and see what happens.
So, might actually have a quick correction here, and something that's going to be changing up a little bit more for the side of eBROS. It's not a Senna, it's a Blitzcrank. So, they have Blitzcrank, so it's going to be looking for a pretty early invade, potentially through the mid lane, but is going to be caught immediately by the Diana. Flash out from the Blitzcrank, flash out from the Diana. Not able to get the cheesy Blitz pulse, but should be changing up the bot lane just a little bit more. How do you think it favors with the Blitzcrank rather than the Senna? Or rather, the Blitzcrank into the Swain into Ezreal?
So I actually almost like the Senna. Well, all right. I like the Senna better in this team comp to a certain extent. I think the Blitz is going to bring a little bit more utility and tankiness, but I don't personally like Twitch and Blitzcrank as a lane. I think that Blitzcrank wants to do things, and Twitch wants to be ignored and farm. So I think Shadeslayer is really going to have to leave bot lane as he gets spotted out by a ward trying to be cheesy here. But I think that Shadeslayer is really going to have to leave bot lane to do the things that he wants to do. Ezreal and Swain, just they're not going to do anything other than kill you, really. And Twitch doesn't do enough damage early to make anything that Blitzcrank can do worth it. The big thing, though, is the flash exchange off of the Blitzcrank for the Diana should put the Fizz in a really, really good situation here to make something happen, because Diana's running Conqueror, which I know a lot of Diana players do, but big grab down in bot lane.
Nice grab onto the Ezreal. He doesn't have the E up, so they're just gonna keep going in. They're gonna keep trying to engage there, but Swain's gonna do a nice engage as well. Flash out from Swain, flash out from Ezreal, heal out from Ezreal, Blitzcrank, happy feet, keep moving around, buddy. Stay alive, man. And First Blood going over to Twitch. They're going to be going on to Swain. Can Swain pick up the Blitzcrank? He does get the pull up. Swain's in such a bad predicament. There is the Twitch. Sneaky peeky gets a double.
Well, that didn't go well for this side of Apes Together Strong, and that is exactly what you don't want happening at the beginning of a game against a Twitch with a Doran's shield.
That was incredible.
Really good job by Shadeslayer and Devranga identifying the fact that level 1 might be the only time that they can trade against this Ezreal. Oh, gank in mid lane.
They're going to be getting the gank off on the mid lane. This Sejuani going in for a flash Q rather, is not going to be able to get that, and they're going to get another kill. And it's starting to steamroll, buddy. It's starting to steam, Cage, and it's going to be very interesting on how they're going to recover from this. Apes Together Strong falling almost 2k behind at the very start of this game. It's only 3 minutes.
So this is a perfect example of what I wanted to talk about before, things started happening in bot lane. The Diana is running Conqueror, which is a fairly common rune to see on her, but most of the high-level Diana mains that I know and follow as a heavy Diana player myself prefer to run either Phase Rush, as Scrambles walks back again, prefer to run either Phase Rush or Fleet Footwork, because Diana's innate mobility issues, especially early, put her in a bad position. As Randomonium walks up into this Fizz again.
Uh-oh. Here goes the Fizz. Is he going to be able to get picked or get a pick himself? Scrambles is there for another fight. They are going to be picking off the Sejuani. The Fizz, is he going to live? I don't believe so. One more Q is going to give King Midoriya a blue buff right there. And there's fights happening nonstop. It's only 4 minutes, folks. Just this only 4 minutes, and all of this has happened. It's 5-2.
See, that's a perfect example, though, of where with Fleet Footwork or with Phase Rush, that Fizz is dead before it ever even runs into the jungle. Maybe you even prevent your Sejuani from falling. And with the flash burned early, Majora's been playing without a flash for the first 5 minutes of this game, and it cost a couple of lives, both Majora's and Randomonium's. So I understand the Conqueror pick. I just don't think that it's the best pick into the team. And Scrambles coming back with an excellent game on the Wukong, really laying the hammer down, understanding that without the flash in mid lane, that's where he should be.
Yeah, he's been all over this map, really been just focusing down on the ganks here and not worrying too much about farm, but he is still keeping up in farm with the Sejuani.
Yeah, and really big problem for ATS in the bot lane with the early 2 kills going over onto Twitch. He was able to back and buy both a Cull and a longsword. So, huge... Oh, goes wide.
Almost. The sneaky Twitch there, going to be sidestepping the engage from the Swain. Huge Fizz damage going out. Flash forward is going to be the Twitch is going to get yet another kill. He is 3-0.
This game's over. I mean, it's not, and any game of League can go anywhere, but Ezreal just can't compete with Twitch unless Ezreal gets ahead. And Diana and Fizz is a skill matchup, but there's enough of a gold advantage and experience advantage right now that I would not want to be the Diana in this matchup. You're in a rough spot. The only thing that really could pull this one out for Apes Together Strong is if the Sejuani is able to get some CC down in the right places at the right time, and the squishiness of the Wukong turns out to be a problem. Otherwise, this game is in real dire straits.
Yeah, you do see the Diana hitting level 6, but immediately getting engaged on by the Blitzcrank and by the Wukong, that's going to be another kill going over to the Fizz. It's looking bad. The bleeding hasn't stopped. The bleeding has not stopped. The fighting has never ended. And the flashes are almost up again, but Diana had to use it immediately to try and get away, but couldn't escape from the Wukong and from the Blitzcrank.
Really, really good job by Shadeslayer and Scrambles identifying the fact that Majora is sitting there going, I'm level 6, Thunderstorm's level 5. I win this trade and my flash is up. And they just sat and they waited. And they knew it. They knew that there was no reason for Majora not to get over aggressive there. And excellent, excellent read to roam by both the jungler and the bot lane support. And then this game just continues to slip out of the grasp of Apes Together Strong. Behind over 2,000 gold already at 7.5, 8 minutes. And the worst part of that is Twitch is already at 3,000 gold with 1,000 gold lead on Ezreal. And is going to be hitting mid-game before anybody else in the game even realizes that early game is over.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard for Apes Together Strong to make a comeback story here. But we have seen it in the past. We have seen teams do some interesting plays and really outread their opponents and really change things up. Vladimir, really good late game champion. Diana, pretty good late game champion, has a really good mid game here. But Ezreal being pretty strong, it's going to be interesting, but you never really know what's going to happen in like games like these.
I agree with you, but eBROS making a really good read to rotate up for that Rift Herald, recognizing that they're fairly unassailable now, and all they have to do is continue to snowball and not give up any really major advantages, and they win the scaling pretty much across the board. Gangplank outscales Vladimir, Wukong and Sejuani go kind of even, Fizz and Diana go kind of even, Twitch and Blitzcrank so exponentially outscale Swain and Ezreal that it's absurd. And with the gold lead already there, they're looking to just force down this top turret and get even more gold over onto the Twitch, despite giving up a lot of plates on their bot turret for it. They're playing this really, really well right now, and there's just no reason for them, short of a catastrophic error in judgment, as the Gangplank clears the bot wave defending that turret. I don't see how Apes Together Strong gets back into this game.
Yeah, it should be very hard for them to even make a play, but we're going to see the next couple minutes fly by. We're going to see the next couple dragons. It's going to be an Ocean Dragon for the next one here. You do see eBROS, they've been on objectives all game. I think they learned last game to never give up another objective ever again, and they have been playing it really well.
Yeah, this one's gonna be hard. eBROS really, we talked about how they needed to clean up a little bit of their play, and they're playing together as a team really well right now. This is what I wanted to see from them after that first game, where they all seem to be a little bit on a different page. The whole team seems to be on the same page right now, and that is Devranga is going to get flying on this Twitch and carry us.
Yeah, you can, even the Gangplank, he's just playing his role, kind of playing it safe, kind of not letting him die a lot to Vladimir. They've all been playing it really, really well, and all of them grabbing some pinks, putting it down on the map there, getting some vision control right before the next dragon. Seeing Scramble last game steal away 2 dragons shows that he's most likely going to be able to do a really good job of contesting or getting more dragons out on the map. And then you do see him going in for a flash engage onto the Ezreal. Is going to get a shutdown over to the Swain here, but they're going to go for another turret dive. Fizz is bot lane. He is going to be picking this up very soon. Down goes the Swain, and more turret gold going over to the Twitch there. I think so. He's got how many top? 5 top, and I think he's getting another couple 2 here from the bot lane. So Twitch has a lot of money in his pocket. Same thing with the Fizz. They're really getting those win potential, those win con just like snowballing all the way to the next stages of this game.
A little bit of shades of what I was concerned about after last game. Scramble's kind of solo queuing under the turret by himself instead of waiting for his bot lane to push that up. I don't think that he had to die there. Good job by eBROS to still take the 2-for-1 and the dragon there, but I think that he can afford to just sit in that bush and wait behind the turret to prevent ATS from escaping. He knows his team is coming. He knows they're pushing the wave. I think just pulling the trigger a little too soon.
Yeah, I don't really know what else to say in these situations here. It's just going to be a lot of farming up. Going to be pretty much of a dull state kind of right now. But they're going to be looking for some extra picks. The Blitzcrank getting level 6, getting that extra gold, and then his support item actually being upgraded here. Wukong doubling down, really focusing, getting that clear off of the Sejuani, and Twitch getting more turret plates in the mid lane.
And really important to note here, the gold advantage in this game is almost 1,000 on the junglers, almost 2,000 on the AD carries. And those are the two really big pain points that can come out in this game on the side of eBROS. The Fizz is a little bit up on the Diana, but they're both assassins. They're not the primary damage sources of these teams. And with the Wukong and the Twitch absolutely massive, it's going to be really hard for anyone other than a Vladimir or a Sejuani to survive for a couple of seconds against a full combo.
Turret plating will soon fall.
Yeah. What do you think? What can Apes Together Strong really do to stop the bleeding here? What can they do to kind of stall out this game and try and get them in a better position?
Pick Devraga.
Yeah, get the Twitch.
They need to do one of two things. They either need to get the Twitch with the Diana and the Sejuani ultimate, which I think is probably their only hope, or they need to successfully bait scrambles into an overengage and kill him after his combo comes out while disengaging from the rest of his team. They've identified that Scrambles likes to go forward ahead of the team. There's huge dive coming out.
Wow, huge dive coming out. Sejuani ulti in the Blitzcrank, trying to grab a pick underneath the turret. They're going to be picking off the Blitzcrank. They are going to be grabbing that Diana, though. And Gangplank getting some really nice barrels off this game. Jelly Roll really showing his, flexing his muscles on this Gangplank. And playing it really, really well. I really like the performance that he's put on, like max range barrels all the time. And we're going to get a Wukong engage, Swain ulti going out. There comes a Vladimir. There goes the Zhonya's from the Fizz. They are going to be picking up more. They are going to be grabbing the Sejuani. They are so low in their own jungle, but they're going to be looking for more. They're going to be trying to pick up this turret right here, and they get another turret on the side of eBROS.
But that's exactly what I'm talking about from ATS. They played that as well as they could have in their situation. They waited for the overengage from the Wukong. They baited him and the Fizz around under turret. Fizz barely escapes, but if they pick up the Fizz, that's exactly what they have to do. They have one of two choices. They either catch the rat, which at this point doesn't look like they're ever going to be able to do, because Devraga's just playing it so well and so safely at this point. Or they have to back away from the fight with the rat and manage to pick the assassins trying to get into their back line while avoiding the re-engage. And they did that pretty well under their turret there. Unfortunately, just too far behind to make it work to a perfect extent.
Yeah, you can see Debraga picking up that red buff there, getting ready for another scuttle fight probably. They are positioned for it. They have picked up every single major objective this game and really been snowballing that effect into other stages of this game. It's kind of like a blueprint I'm seeing right now. I'm seeing them go, okay, step 1, kill everything in sight and lane. All right, next step. We're going to step 2, take every single objective. Okay, next step. We're going to take their turret and the Nexus.
Yeah,
eBROS is they're very confident in this game. Very confident.
and they should be. They're sitting on a 6,500 gold Twitch, a 6,500 gold Fizz, and a 6,500 gold Wukong, while none of their counterparts have broken 5,500 gold. The entire 4,000 gold lead is on their 3 primary carries, with Gangplank just taking his time scaling in a side lane. eBROS should feel very, very good about this game, considering that they have to misplay to lose it at this point.
Yeah, it's really their game to lose. And getting a nice pick on Jezreel, immediately exploding him away. The Gangplank ultimate coming down, the Wukong picking up that kill. They're going to be looking for more, but I don't think they're going to be able to get it. Getting a couple nasty turret shots from the Wukong is not going to be enough to stop him. The ultimate going down, not going to be able to pick up the Fizz. He is going to be trying to pick up the Sejuani. He's so low, the minions actually take him down, and they're going to be picking off an inhibitor here. It is 17 minutes. It is really hard to stop the bleeding for Apes Together Strong. They did the best they could here, and they're going to be getting a nice actually shut down. This might be a win con. Vladimir is something to look for, because Vladimir late game could be devastating.
That's a huge play by Cyanite there to secure the kill onto Devraga, who was still staying around a little too late. This should be the dragon that they needed to prevent soul point threat. So really, really good job by Cyanite of identifying what he had to do to prevent this game from being over, and cutting the lead actually to only 3,000 gold despite losing their inhibitor turret off of that last Baron play. Big shutdowns going over to Apes Together Strong to pull them back to about a 3,000 gold lead. And a lot of that gold going over onto Vladimir is huge for them. But unfortunately, Gangplank just passively keeping up in gold by the benefit of being a Gangplank.
Yeah, he is 0-0-5. He's doing Gangplank things, getting assists around the maps, farming up, and then using that for the later stages of this game. I think they're going to be looking up for another pick here. They're going to be getting the Swain flash, but I don't think he can outrun the Twitch here. Twitch is going to get a nice pick off for, he's going to be up in time. It's just good. It's just a nice pick. That one's just a nice pick.
So here's the problem. It looks like a 4,000 gold split, but the problem is 2,000 of that gold split is on Twitch. Twitch is sitting at 2 items done with about 1,000 in the bank, probably looking to finish his his second item pretty soon. And once Twitch finishes his second item, Twitch is so far ahead of the rest of the curve of the game that that 4,000 gold lead might as well be 6,000 or 7,000.
Gonna get another engage onto the Blitzcrank there. They are gonna be finding the pick. They do get the Blitzcrank. Are they gonna be able to get anything more? Sejuani ultimate going out, not gonna be able to grab the Twitch. Twitch does flash away. Gangplank ultimate going to be there to slow them down. I don't think they're gonna be able to grab more, but wait, Scrambles is in a bad position. Uh-oh, he's gonna be trying to go in onto the Ezreal here. He knows that he's done for, so he's just gonna be trying to go for picks. He is not gonna be able to pick up the Ezreal. I stand corrected. Ezreal goes down. Wukong grabbing a kill before falling down himself, going for a 1-for-1 there.
Really good job by ATS there defending their inhibitor, identifying the fact that once again, eBROS trying to get a little bit too cheeky, a little bit too greedy with how they're trying to play the game, leaving only 3 mid pushing on that inhibitor, while there's no real pressure on the other 2 sides of the map, with the Fizz trying to pressure a turret and the Gangplank trying to pressure a turret, but neither one of them in a position to put that pressure out.
Twitch is doing it again. He's doing that thing where he presses the right click button on the Swain again. And he does it!
And cool guys don't look at explosions.
Really
Twitch
true.
walks away letting the poison do his dirty work.
That's the fadeaway. That's the fadeaway Twitch right now. He keeps finding the Swain. He has Swain vision right now, where you just keep seeing Swain and then he just destroys it with some Twitch damage.
Really rough situation for Uncle's Alone Time and Causeway to be in. They needed to get ahead in this kill lane bot. They did not have the benefit of waiting, and the early kills onto Devraga really kind of take away the counter synergy between Blitzcrank and Twitch. They put Twitch in a place where he could afford to fight with Blitzcrank on these engages and really punish Swain for wanting to be over aggressive. And it's just really, it's kind of been a lost game since the beginning.
Yeah, it's been really hard to recover from those first couple instances there, and I'm not sure what they can do. I don't know what the game plan in their comms is right now. I think honestly, get Vladimir scaled, get that hyper carry to murder the Twitch eventually, and get these dragons when we can, because Vladimir with more ultimates, they do favor a lot for the Cloud Soul, and I don't think we've really talked about Cloud Soul that much, in the sense of how beneficial it is for the side of Apes Together Strong. So I think they're going to be looking for more. But how do you think they'll favor for the side of eBROS? Do you think they really need the Cloud Soul?
I think that both teams benefit hugely from the Cloud Soul. The movement speed boost very clearly is a strong buff to Vladimir, Diana, and Swain, but it's also a huge boost to Twitch and Fizz and Blitzcrank, all of whom ultimate and then run forward also, and Wukong. So I think that Cloud Soul's so far off for Apes Together Strong that they can't even really hope for it. Their biggest goal is to deny it, but it's actually a huge buff for both teams at this point, as Thunderstorm in a bit of trouble here.
In a 1v1 situation, there goes the Sejuani ultimate going down, not landing onto scrambles there. They're going to be looking for King Midoriya. They are going to be going up, knocking her down. There goes the Diana. Here is the Twitch. There's the Vladimir coming in with a nice Emo Plague. Going to be trying to grab something out of here. We do see the Sejuani trying to pick off the Gangplank who is TPing in the back lines there, but it doesn't look like they're going to be grabbing any more kills here. Really good trade. It's good trade. They go for mid laner for support here, so beneficial for the side of the eBROS, but they are going to be trying to look for this dragon. Twitch is in a nice spot in front of the Vladimir, going to be trying to poke him down. There's the flash from Swain, going to be a nice landing E onto the Twitch. Down goes Twitch onto Swain. The Fizz is going to be picking up. Ezreal is going to be picking up the Swain, and then the Vladimir going to be picking up the Fizz here. Is he going to be able to live? I don't believe so. No. The Wukong, the Gangplank, they just need to focus out the Sejuani, as they are going to most likely take this next dragon here.
So really big misplay or miscommunication, I should say, by Apes Together Strong, as the Swain flashes forward to land his CC at the exact same time that Vladimir goes golden.
Oh no. Okay. The Sejuani lives. I was really fearing that she was still staying longer than she needed to be. And oh no. Oh no, there's the Blitzcrank Q into the E, into the knock-up, into the kill. Down goes Sejuani. That was something I was fearing. I was fearing for the Sejuani to stay there a little bit too long. Just give up the dragon. It's okay. You lost the fight. Give up the dragon and then reset.
Exact same thing that we saw last game with Scrambles inting for the third dragon and getting the steal, but this time Randomonium tries to get the steal but dies without getting the steal, and you have the problem here of this could be a free Baron. Oh.
What's going on here? What's going on here? We're gonna see the engage from the Wukong going down to the back lines, and then you see the Diana going into their back line and falling to them as well.
All right, so we're seeing a bit of a mistake here by Apes Together Strong. Apes Together Strong, in the first fight before the dragon, misidentified their target. They think that Fizz is their problem, and they burn almost everything to try to kill Fizz and get mowed down by Devronga. This time, they walk into a bad spot where they don't have vision, but vision is held against them, and the Twitch ulti cuts them down to half. And then we see Scrambles do what the problem that Scrambles does is he runs forward and tries to 2v1, 3v1, and dies for it. On the flip side, though, Majora tries to go in on Devronga, identifying that that's who needs to die, but just doesn't have the damage necessary. That is a massive Twitch on almost 3 items against a 2-item Diana, and the peel was there for Twitch. So both sides, people trying to make individual plays that they really shouldn't be able to make, and failing to make those plays.
And here's my stance. You know, Scrambles? Yeah, I respect that. He goes in, 3 people hitting Scrambles. You know what that means? That's 3 people not hitting the Twitch or the Fizz.
I mean, the logic there is not broken. And thus far, Scrambles has managed to burn a lot of cooldowns off of the side of ATS by just going absolutely ham like that. So I can't fault it. The biggest problem, though, is he has a Cleaver Warrior build. If he was just going to try to be a menace, I would have liked him to see him build a little tankier than the kind of cookie cutter Warrior Cleaver into Death Stance build that he's going. Because a really good job by Randomonium identifying that he needs to push his tank stats elsewhere and actually going Knight's Vow second on the Sejuani to try to, I'm assuming, buff up the Vladimir. Although at the moment it's on the Ezreal.
Yeah, let's actually talk about some itemization here. What do you think is going to be the build path for the, both sides? What do you think they're going to be doing and what they are going to be looking for?
Thus far, pretty standard builds across the board. The Gangplank build, I think, is a little interesting, but I don't know how Gangplanks normally build. Cookie cutter builds from pretty much everybody, except for the Fizz opting into the Morello, and that is because he has to handle the Vladimir. Blitzcrank with a really odd pickup of the Iceborne Gauntlet, however, just really flexing the fact that they're ahead and just trying to provide every little bit of extra peel that he can for Devranga. A little bit odd. I would have kind of expected to see the more traditional build of Knight's Vow and Conflux. What is it?
Zeke's Herald and then Gargoyles?
That one. Zeke's Herald at least. Just, you have a hyper-scaling Twitch. I would have liked to have seen items built to enhance that Twitch. Or even especially, I know it's not the best item on Blitzcrank, but going Mikhail's second item, which he might still be doing, because the only way that they can win is if they CC Twitch with Sejuani. They don't really have any other way to lock the champion down.
Uh-oh, Blitzcrank's out of his team. They might be able to grab a pick here, but I don't think they're going to be able to. They're going to see a huge fight for this Baron. You do see Dragon going to be coming up in 55 seconds, so like if there's a time to fight, it's right now. When they do grab the pick onto the Vladimir, they're going to be pulling him down, getting him down to half HP here. Gangplank ultimate going out, but is not going to be able to pick anyone off there. Really close fights. They're just trying to pick each other off. It's almost like this weird, I'm going to poke you down, they're going to leave, and then I'm going to poke you down again, and hopefully he falls over.
See, this is the problem with the team comp on the side. Oh, big fight.
Uh-oh, big fight. There's the Wukong in the backline, and he's going to be trying to pick off them, but he's going to be picked off himself. Ezreal's going to be picking that one, and Fizz is going to get the Diana. The Twitch is still alive. The Fizz is still alive. He's going on to the Ezreal. Down goes Ezreal. Double kill for the Fizz. He's going to be jumping up, jumping down from his stick there, going to get away with his E. I believe, I'm not sure if I saw Twitch die, but he did fall down to someone here. The Gangplank is going to be trying to pick them off, but I don't think he's going to be able to take anyone here. Good pick on the side of Apes Together Strong. That's the win they kind of need. Those are the fights they want to take, and that's a really good read on how they played that team fight here.
They played that team fight exactly like we said they were going to have to 10 minutes ago. They let Scrambles get into a bad position where he was behind the entire team. They turned on him and killed him, and then they all flashed forward onto Twitch. And Swain's the one who ultimately got the kill onto Twitch, but that's the only way Apes Together Strong win this. They realize that they just ignore Fizz. They let Fizz kill King Majora on Diana in the backline, and they continue to ignore Fizz while they focus down Twitch. It's just the way that they got to play. And a continuingly weirder and weirder build path by the Blitzcrank here with the Iceborne Gauntlet and the Spooky Ghosts. I think that at this point, Shadeslayer is just trying to ensure that his hooks are going to land.
It looks like he's telling a story. He's like, yes, Spooky Fist.
Yeah. Yeah, Spooky Grab, run away. But the problem is it doesn't really complement his team very well. And that was my concern with this team comp from eBROS in the first place is there's just not the best synergy between their champions. Now, they've got a hyper-fed Twitch. Pretty much nothing matters as long as Twitch stays alive. But they don't have anybody really built to keep Twitch alive. So it all comes down to Davraga positioning perfectly or ATS not paying attention to the right person. And thus far, for most of this game, that's worked out for them. But I'll like to see if it continues to work that way.
Yeah, I think we're going to see like a kind of a stalemate kind of like fight in the mid lanes here and there, but I'm not sure if anyone's going to really necessarily die unless Blitzcrank lands a nice spooky fist, if you will. They do have Baron up, but the next Dragon's not going to be up for another 3 minutes. They do have the potential to get the soul point for the side of eBROS. But I think it's just going to be kind of a lull state. I don't know if they're going to be able to grab a pick or even get a pick on either side.
Yeah, see, the problem that they have on the side of eBROS is their engage isn't very good. And if their engage misses in the form of Wukong's ult or Fizz's ult, all they have is a Blitzcrank hook to try to get a pick. And other than that, they're dependent on Apes Together Strong mispositioning. But Apes Together Strong have a Vladimir and an Ezreal, both of whom can make up their positioning with their kit. It's going to be a really interesting kind of 50-50 stalemate position here, unless eBROS starts this Baron and forces Apes Together Strong to make a play.
They're gonna want to fight. They got tired of sitting mid. They said, fight us or we're taking it. And there goes the engage, and I think that's gonna be a dead Vladimir soon. He is in the middle of a Gangplank ulti. He is gonna be going down, but the Wukong's going in. They're gonna be trying to grab more picks. The Gangplank and the Wukong lives. He gets a double, he gets a triple, and down goes their team. Diana is in danger. I don't think she can run from this. She has to try and fight it, but it's not gonna be enough. Because the Gangplank's there, the Twitch is there, the Wukong is there, the Fizz is there. They only got the Blitzcrank. The spooky Fist has fallen, but the team rises up.
And that's the game. I mean, there's nothing left to do. Apes Together Strong, pick a fight too soon. They should have had Diana teleport up and waited for the teleport to finish before they picked that fight. But they panicked a little with the Baron being started and knowing how fast the Twitch can do it. They run in before their whole team's there. Blitzcrank hooks in the Vladimir, which really worked out well for Vladimir, but the rest of his team falls down because nobody got on Twitch, who just free-fired with his ultimate from the back line, letting scrambles on Wukong just clean up with ultimates and just beating people. Really kind of unfortunate trigger pull by ATS, doing exactly what we saw eBROS doing wrong in the last game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be when are they going to win and how they're going to win. It's going to be a really stylish team fight, and maybe more fadeaways with Twitch. The Dragon's going to be coming up, but I don't think they really need it at this point. It doesn't really matter if they give it up because they can just go into the Nexus and take the base.
I agree with you. I think the play we see here, though, is eBROS identify that Dragon Soul basically means free game for them, because Twitch with Wind Soul is basically permanently like 3,000 range auto-attacking everybody. So they're going to set the play around the Dragon, and it's all going to come down to a fight around Dragon rather than the actual Dragon. Because if Apes Together Strong give up the Dragon, the game's over. And a good hook off of Shade's
Good hook
flare.
into a nice Gangplank, 5-man Gangplank ulti. Everyone's just kind of sitting in. There is the Wukong going in. There is the Sejuani getting a nice pick. This Biz is picking up a double kill into the triple kill. Is it going to be the quadra kill? Yeah, no, the Wukong took it. No penta for the Fizz. No penta. Good game, eBROS. Fun game to watch. Really great. Really flexing the muscles on the champions that they know and love, and really showing like an entirely different side of them again compared to the first game here.
Same concept. eBROS said, we're going to play through our AD carry. We're going to have him hyperscale and carry us. But the difference is this game, instead of sacrificing their jungler and their mid laner's ability to do anything by putting them on champions that are only supportive, they go, all right, well, last game went a little rough. Let's just pick damage on all fronts. And as long as one of us pops off and we don't feed, we should win. And perfect example there, Davraga played that last fight really well, but still died. But then Thunderstorm comes in absolutely massive on the Fizz and cleans up all of the half health members left by killing a Twitch.
Yeah, it's was a really great game on both sides here. The Apes Together Strong really standing together, really trying to just focus them off, and they played the best that they could with an unfortunate early game, but a really great performance by eBROS, getting the victory here and then tying it 1-1. So we're going into game 3 with them, and we're gonna see probably. I'm really excited to see what they're gonna see happen next. But before we get to that, can you give us a quick rundown on how you felt about the game as a whole and the MVP and Ace?
Wild game as a whole, pretty much over from the beginning. Devranga basically pulls a 2-0 out on Twitch in the bot lane, and Apes Together Strong had no real way to come back after that. So excellent play across the board by a lot of members, but it's tough. The Fizz was excellent also, but I think I have to give Devranga on the Twitch my MVP for that game. Just absolutely flexing early, reaching power points before anyone else was even close. And good job on eBROS to play around that well, but MVP to Devranga, Twitch hard carry, smurfing on the game. On the side of ATS, my ace has to go to Vladimir. Has to be that top lane, absolutely oppressive Vladimir. Cyanite on it did really, really well to try to pull his team back from the brink of death after losing in pretty much every other lane. But really unfortunate how once that Twitch was a little bit ahead and the Fizz was a little bit ahead off of really some excellent blitzcrank play by Shadeslayer early, it was just never a game after that.
Mm-hmm. Very well said. Very well said. And when we come back, folks, we're going to be going into game 3 of Apes Together Strong versus eBROS.
Stick around. Silver Scrapes coming up next.
Hello and welcome back, folks. We're going into Game 3 of Apes Together Strong versus eBROS, and I am super excited to see what both teams are going to bring to the table. We saw a great performance in the first game by Apes Together Strong. We saw a great performance by eBROS in the second game, and seeing how their skills is just phenomenal. Seeing their gameplay is really entertaining, and you can never predict what is going to happen next. Cage, what do you think we might see in this game, and what do you want to see in this game?
Well, if you're eBROS and Apes Together Strong is dead set on keeping their bans the same, which it looks like they are, I say salty run back. If you're Apes Together Strong, you got to make some changes because you got stomped across the board. And I don't know how you pick better team fights, but you have to do something to deny the Blitzcrank, or you have to do something to deny the Twitch. But it looks like eBROS decide to salty run back, except they don't want the Blitzcrank again. This time they're changing up their order of draft, but they're picking a Lux up with the Twitch incredibly early, giving them yet again another kind of mismatched bot lane with an early pressure and a hyperscaler, which we'll see how that plays out. But other than that, they salty run back, and ATS sits down and goes, all right, well, you banned the Ashe away from us last time, so they pick up the Swain and Ashe, which are clearly power picks for them. They want Swain. They've picked it early in every match so far. And they pick up the Ashe this time to deny it being banned away. But because they pick up the Ashe, they lose the Vladimir again, because they think the Sejuani is also a priority for them with the Amumu ban. So I have to wonder if Randomonium has a small champion pool and they're concerned about him getting counterpicked. I would have thought that they would have wanted to pick up the Vladimir in that early draft phase also, pick up their Swain, the Ashe, and the Vladimir, if those are as much of power picks as they seem to think they are. But it looks like their counter to Lux is going to be Vel'Koz, which I hate the champion. I hate everything about Vel'Koz. I play too many assassins, and the stupid champion just doesn't interact and blows you up, and you can't do anything about it, and it's really annoying. So
Vel'Koz go brrr.
That, yeah, basically. The Vel'Koz machine gun, say hello to my little, oh, you can't finish saying it because you're already dead.
Brrr.
And the rise in top lane is interesting, but once again, I know that eBROS aren't picking a tank, but Apes Together Strong, over-indexing on 4 AP champions again. The only thing that they learned better this time is they got Ashe, so they have at least a pure AD threat instead of Ezreal, which is kind of hybrid. I guess Vel'Koz true damage, kind of, but after watching the last game, I have to favor eBROS coming out of this draft. But again, eBROS has the same problems that I thought they had last time, where they're all damaged. They don't have any front line, really. Their front line is squishy, and their bot lane is mismatched. So we'll see if Davraga can repeat on Twitch what he did last time, where he gets ahead to a point where his lane isn't a toss-up. But let's load onto the Rift and see how this one plays out.
Yeah, let's go right on in here.
Masaki!
So coming on to the Rift, I think we're probably going to see, they don't have the Blitzcrank this time, so it's probably going to be like a typical 5-man, 5 points, but I have been wrong before. They are, you do see eBROS actually doing a little positioning from what they've done in the first game, where they kind of lean back and see if they go in first. If they go in first, they try and pick up, they get the kill, but well, let's see what they're going to want to do here. It might be a late invade. Scramble's leading up first, and the Gangplank just going to be heading back home. They do get caught on a ward here, immediately spotted out, and they're going to be put back here. So really good ward on... who warded that? Who was the one who did that? I'm pretty sure that was Sejuani who warded that one, and good positioning of Vision Score here. All of them basically going to be playing it really, really safe. They do not want to have a repeat of last game where they just kind of snowballed at the very early start of the game.
Really, really good vision line placed by Apes Together Strong here. But unfortunately, the passive start means that eBROS get that really good deep vision ward on the blue buff and Gromp. So they know exactly where this Sejuani is starting. And they're going to match that so that Scrambles is in position to counter if Sejuani tries to make a play.
Yeah, we do see the rise into the Gangplank this time. How do you think that will favor? How do you think that will work for the Gangplank? Because we saw Jelly Roll play a really great, like, kind of safe champion last game. So do you think he's going to be able to do the same thing against the Rise again?
Honestly, that lane should be incredibly boring. I'm more interested to see how the Swain into Fizz matchup goes, because I feel like Apes Together Strong tried to dodge this matchup last time. I feel like they drafted the Swain, and then after the Fizz came out, King Majora decided that he didn't like that lane, he didn't want that matchup, so they sent it down bot, and this time around, they're going to play into it, and I think that that could be a huge hinge where the game goes. In top lane, it's really just on Jelly Roll to not take too much poke. Gangplank pretty well counters the ability of Rise to engage and do a whole lot of damage, just because the barrel range as well as his orange allows him to dodge the snare.
Yeah, you're going to see an engage going into King Majora here on the Swain. He's not going to be able to pick that up. And another thing noting here, Lux threw out a Q earlier, and the Vel'Koz actually flashed it away. So Vel'Koz, no flash. So meaning Scrambles can really focus down onto the bot lane and onto the mid lane a little bit.
Agreed, except for the fact that Scrambles just burned his flash to get Majora's flash. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens here as he's waiting around potentially to counter gank the Sejuani or to gank again.
Yeah, I think another thing I really want to note on, not just the mid lane, but also the junglers and their pathing here. And what they're going to be going to, because even last game, the junglers heavily were ganking lanes, heavily being super aggressive, and then just making plays all across the map, making the lane phase just almost non-existent with the jungler permanent in your lane and every lane kind of feel here.
Yeah, but a little bit of Game 3 jitters seems to have set in across the map as we're at 4 minutes and not a single person has died yet.
Yeah, I know, it's incredible. 4 minutes, no deaths.
Whereas last game, I think that we were 5-2 at 4 minutes or something.
Yeah, it was something crazy like that. They were fighting. There was blood everywhere. They just wanted something dead. They keep throwing abilities at stuff. But this game, super passive. You see that they are both teams kind of like having the jitters with, like you said earlier, with this being the final game. Both of them really wanting to win, and no one wants to mess up. No one wants to be the one that dies early.
Couple of really good snares being landed by Shadeslayer on this Lux down here, but every time they try to walk forward to combo off of him, Uncle's alone time dropping that Vel'Koz knockup, scaring him off. But Scramble's looking to make a sneaky play here, walking through on the lane gank, clearing all the vision up.
I think he was spotted on that minion there. I'm not too sure. I'm pretty sure once they saw him get out of the bush, the minion was in a spot where he could see him, but it's so hard to tell. You see the engage going in onto the app. Scramble's coming up and is going to get the first blood over to the Twitch again. And we're going to see Twitch possibly popping off again. This could be something scary. We do not want that happening again, and Apes Together Strong are really going to have to put that jungler dot lane and help their bot lane kind of carry the game.
Well, the benefit of playing the Ashe this game is Ashe dies and picks up a Vamp Scepter. Once that Vamp Scepter is done, the ability of Lux to poke out the Ashe like happened in there is pretty much gone. At this point, the Ashe should be able to farm and survive fairly well. And so it'll take a really big misplay by the bot lane or a really good catch for that bot lane to continue falling down. So at the very least, they're in a good position to slow the Twitch down, at least to the point where he's not going to be out of control at 10 minutes.
Yeah. You only saw 1 kill going down and 1 trade. You do see the Infernal Dragon's going to be the first one to come up here. Who do you think's going to take it? Who do you think wants it? And who do you think, how do you think it's going to be played out?
It'll depend a lot on positioning. I think that neither team is in a great position to try to force it, but I think that just given the nature of the way that the pit works, I think that it favors ATS. And if they get vision on scrambles here, I think that they make a play for it. But it looks like they're setting up good enough vision in the first place that they could just opt to try to force it, especially if they know that Thunderstorm is backing right now.
Yeah, they do have Pop Cryo here. They are going to be pushing that one in pretty well with the Vel'Koz W, the Ashe W. It's really hard to lane against that or sit somewhere safe where you're not being hit by Vel'Koz, where you're not being hit by Ashe. So I really like the combination of this bot lane.
And there it is. Early rotation up, knowing that the Fizz is backed, and the team collapses down to force that early dragon. Good heads-up play by Apes to really rally around and identify where the macro of the map is.
Yeah, something that's worth note as well is watching that Wukong in the enemy jungle, seeing that they're probably going to take Dragon, so why not take a free red buff? So he takes the red buff away from the Sejuani, trying to get some XP to himself and focusing them back. Vel'Koz, doing Vel'Koz things, does put an exhaust down onto Twitch here, so that's just another reason to gank bot lane.
Yeah, all of the summoners except for Flash burned on the bot lane for ATS. Would really like to see a play made down there. The Vel'Koz is just continuing to walk up to try to force something, but putting himself out of position and having to burn summoners to avoid falling down off of the combo of the Lux and Twitch damage here.
Yeah, Vel'Koz's playing it really safe. Like, he does not want anything to interact. Unless he's poking you from a distance, he does not want to get caught out. And is really just trying not to get that Twitch too far ahead. And is playing it really safe here. But at the cost of his own summoners, at the cost of Ashe's summoners. They're trying to do stuff, they're trying to make plays, but they have to be wary of the Wukong just showing up in their lane. Here comes the flash in from the Sejuani, not quite landing the Q up, and the Fizz is going to do another re-engage. The Gangplank ulting in on mid lane. There's Scrambles. He's going to be going up for the knock-up 1. Where's knock-up 2? He's going for knock-up 2. Can Fizz grab it? He goes up. He is going to have to fall down because the Twitch... Oh my word. Okay, run that back. We got to see that one again. We're going to have a bot lane fight, though. So Twitch is going to be engaging onto the Ashe there. The Vel'Koz is going to be trying to pick off the Lux here. He's going to get a flash on Vel'Koz. He's running to safety, and then you see a fight top lane, Rise is going to be flashing away. They put a Rift Herald mid, and there is the blood that we see from these teams. There is the fight. There was something I wanted to talk about, but I don't remember because 3 things happened immediately after.
All right, yeah, so we started off with a big over-engage by Sejuani, flashing forward, trying to knock up the Fizz with the Q. Really greedy to try to do that with Fizz that far back in the lane. Unfortunately, Scrambles is there for the counter gank and goes right in on them, as well as the ultimate from Gangplank to slow them all down. Kind of dooms Majora and Randomonium, who are stuck on this engage. Their champions kind of only go one direction once they commit. But as they're falling back, they try to make the play, and a little bit of a greedy dive from Thunderstorm and Scrambles result in Scrambles dying to Majora on the trade kill. But Randomonium here is going to die to Scrambles again, taking a really greedy path.
Red's not predicting the Scrambles to be in his own tri-bush.
That was...
It was a play.
It was an unfortunately greedy path by Randomonium, running up where his team couldn't support him, and just wound up with him falling also. And another play in the mid lane.
Yeah. There's the Fizz damage, rather. Here comes Rise. He's going to try and pick off the Fizz here, but the Fizz is going to get away with his playful Trickster. And Fizz showing his Fizz plays here, really knowing his matchup and really just playing it out really well against the Swain. Swain's not able to really lock him down, not able to get the damage off with his Q. And Fizz can just auto-attack Swain almost to oblivion there, as we saw.
You're seeing a really, really good example of why Majora did not want to play this matchup of Swain into Fizz. And you're also just seeing a really, really good example of how well this high damage comp works when there's a bunch of lower damage pseudo tanky scaling members, and a great Q by Get the Shade Slayer.
Great Q with the great ulti. There's the Twitch with the 2000 range. Is he gonna fall to the Twitch poison? He is so low. He does fall down to the Twitch, and that was a really nice fadeaway. It was hard. It's hard to counterplay that. You just got auto attacked by Twitch. You try and do your best. You try and live, but then you just you're watching that evil rat face in the top corner, and you're like, oh no, not again, and then you fall down.
Yeah, really rough series of events going on for Apes Together Strong, as the Twitch just continues to find hits.
To the Twitch, he predicted the Ashe flash and threw his E even further. So when Ashe flashed back to dodge the E, she just landed into the Twitch E. This Twitch is snowballing really, really hard and playing this game expertly well here.
You know, I wasn't a huge fan of eBROS draft, but it looks like they're all on comfort champions, and I don't know what the past held for eBROS and Apes Together Strong, and why they were so determined to run pick and ban the way they did. But after watching the last game, I can't help but think that Apes Together Strong really did themselves dirty in the draft this game, letting almost all of the champions that just stomped them in the last game go through to deny champions that they're not seeing.
Here goes the Twitch. He does get the Ashe heal into the Ashe ulti. Twitch is ulting himself, but is just going to get some nice damage. He does like that trade a lot and is going to go back happy. But wait a minute. There's the Lux ulti. There's Scrambles. He's just waiting for his abilities to come up. There goes the TP. There goes the flash. There goes the EQ. There he goes. He's out of there. And Rise is going to try and pick up something, but he's really unable to contest with this.
Really good usage of the movement speed boost off of Wukong's ult there to run himself out from under the turret, and only take the one turret shot after flashing under turret to get that kill.
I really like eBROS because in draft there you see a lot with Apes Together Strong really focusing down on the top laner onto the Jelly Roll. I have seen Jelly Roll basically 1v5 in 1v9. Well, no, 1v5. It seems really, really good. I gotta give them a lot of credit because you see Jelly Roll play a lot of carry champions top lane, but in this series here, because he's been banned out so hard, he says bot lane's got this, and he goes mid lane's got this, and he plays safe champions like Gangplank, and it's been working really, really well for him.
Collapse coming down here onto Randomonium.
Yeah, are they going to be able to grab something? There is Scrambles. He is going to be trying to pick off the Sejuani here. And Uncle's alone time is pretty squishy. I think that's what Scramble's target is. He is going to be going on to Uncle's alone time. He's going to get immediately exhausted into the Vel'Koz ulti. But here comes the Twitch with a nice rabbit munch going down onto the Vel'Koz. Is it going to be enough to get the double as well? He does do the fade away, get the Sejuani. There is the Swain, rather. They're going to be trying to look for more Swain ulti going out. This Fizz is going to have to Zanyas. He's in a little bit of danger, but he does have the playful Trickster to get away here. Is it going to be enough? They do get the shutdown going over to the Swain, but bot lane we do see a little bit of a skirmish going to be getting that turret. The Lux with a really nice ulti is going to be trying to pick up the Rise. Down goes Rise. He cannot ulti away. And huge fights, huge win from eBROS. They were playing it super safe in the early, and they're like, all right, it's go time, baby. And they just ran at the enemy team, and now it's 12-2.
Yeah, you gotta feel like eBROS is feeling really good about this game. It feels exactly like last game, except almost even better. It feels like the ways that the Apes had to get back into last game, they don't even have this game. Rise is not the threat that Vladimir is. Swain is not the threat that Diana was. Vel'Koz is so far behind now that you have 3 members on your team that can basically just instantly delete him off the map. I can't imagine why, as Apes, you would have let Fizz and Twitch go through another draft phase. It doesn't make sense to me after the way that they eviscerated your team last game.
Who knows? Well, Jelly Roll, very scary. Don't want to really. I think they had a game plan in mind, and they have a blueprint, but they were unable to really get that into gameplay situation here. Who was the? I'm not too familiar. Who's the sub for eBROS?
You know, I don't actually know enough about that from this team or this division. But I'm pretty sure that he'd been with them at least for the first couple rounds of playoffs.
Oh, and that's okay. Okay, that makes sense.
So it's not like they pulled an E-sub for the finals. If I had to guess, just based on looking at the team, it would be Scrambles who was the sub. Everybody else has the eBro tag, but maybe Scrambles is just too cool to wear his club tag.
Maybe. We're gonna see the Ocean Soul coming out, and then we're gonna get the first Ocean Drag going over to the side of the eBROS. And now let's look at itemization here. And I have a question, sir. I have a question for you, Cage. Is it going to be Spooky Staff? Is he going to grab the Spooky?
There is zero reason for anyone to grab Spooky Ghosts in this game. The only reason that you might want to grab Spooky Ghosts in this game is if you were on the side of Apes Together Strong and you needed to guarantee vision on Twitch or Wukong. Otherwise, no, bad.
I'm watching it, buddy. I'm looking at the Lux. I'm waiting for the Spookies. But you're right in that sense. I think she'll probably go for another item. We'll probably go for I'm not sure how Lux support really builds, honestly. She's got a Luden's Echo. Is this gonna be a death cap? I'm not sure how to play Lux support.
The interesting thing is you can build Enchanter or damage. Just based on the way that eBROS seems like they like to kind of ape in games, I would assume that we're just going to see more damage coming out of the Lux. The question is, what damage item? You don't have a Morellos coming out of your mid laner on Fizz, probably. It's a kind of subpar item for Fizz, so I would hope that you would get a Morellos out of the Lux if you're going to continue down the damage pathway. Otherwise, I would like to see, again, either a Mikhail's Crucible or an Athene's, maybe even a Ardent. Any of those would do a very, very good job of further buffing up your win condition in the Twitch.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think is going to be happening? What do Apes Together Strong need to do to stop the bleeding and get prepared for another part in this game?
Well, if this wasn't game 3, I would say FF to save team morale. They're 10,000 gold almost behind at 20 minutes. Twitch is absolutely massive. I don't think that there's anything that Apes Together Strong can do to get back in this game. I think that eBROS have to throw. I think that there's just no way to outplay the current scenario. Fizz is too big. Fizz can single-handedly 1v2 anybody on your team except for maybe You're Swain. And with Fizz that big, you have no way to kill the Twitch.
They just got Baron here. And no contestation there. No one's going to be able to stop the Baron from going down. So what are they going to do with this Baron power play? I think they're probably going to be looking for opening up the base into potential more picks into another team fight because they're really powerful right now.
Well, waves are in a questionable, like, you'd have to push top to have a favorable wave condition. Dragon's coming up in, I think, about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. So really, with this Baron, I don't think that they're going to get a whole lot off of the power play. I think that they're mostly going to reset the waves, maybe try to siege up mid, and possibly take mid turret, and then rotate down to the Dragon. They have to set up a 1-3-1, and it looks like they're doing that pretty well. They've got the Gangplank pushing down bot. They've got the Fizz up top with Scrambles shadowing. So they're doing a good job of getting their pressure down, but for some reason their Gangplank is resetting. He must have had a... Oh yeah, he just finished his Essence Reaver. And Gangplank does have teleport, but I think that they lost a lot of pressure off of that. Although the Rise did go down to match it. It looks like they're content to just try to push up some pressure with the 1-3-1 and farm, but unfortunately for them, the 1-3-1 works just as well for Apes Together Strong. eBROS really need to be looking to pull the trigger somewhere here to kind of just finish closing out this game.
Yeah, we do see the Dragon coming up in about 20 seconds here, so I mean, there's no contestation with this Dragon here. There's no way that Apes Together Strong are going to be able to stop the Baron buff team that is eBROS and are able they're not going to be able to contest this. I think they're just going to have to keep pushing up. They're going to have to keep turtling and hope for one of them to throw or run it down.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see a really slow, boring next little bit. If I were in eBROS comms, based on the way that it's looking right now, I'd imagine that they're saying, all right, everybody, just sit on your hands and wait for Dragon Soul, or wait for next Baron, or wait for them to make a mistake. We don't have to do anything. We just win this game by doing nothing. Like, they have a 12,000 gold lead almost. They can basically just suffocate Apes Together Strong out of this game. And as long as they don't make a mistake, the game is over. They just have to wait for it to end. Which doesn't make for the most engaging of gameplay, unfortunately. But
we gotta wait for the Lux itemization. That's the most exciting thing for this game for me.
yeah,
I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
finishes up the fork cheers.
So we got a nice pick off of the Ash here. He's going to have to flash, but the Twitch is going to engage on the tower with another flash. They do catch the Sejuani in her own jungle. They're going to be picking that one off one by one. This is why you cannot leave your base as the side of Apes Together Strong, but I don't even think Ash left her base. To be honest, she got hit by 1 Q, and it was all Ogre from there.
Yeah, and that's really, if you're on the side of eBROS, that's all you're trying to do. And here's the engage.
Yeah, here's another engage.
That's the game.
They're going to be trying to grab this. They get another knock up onto the Rise. Scrambles just in the back line, but it's going to fall down to the Rise. They're going to be going for more, and the Swain does ulti, but it's going to fall down to the Fizz.
Cyanite with a really good play there to make Scrambles pay for his over-aggression. But really, after the matching picks in mid and top jungle, there's just not much they can do. eBROS realize this is their opportunity to push the lead. Ooh, really greedy positioning by Devraga and Shadeslayer, getting a little impatient. And it's not going to hurt them too much here because only Randomonium goes forward. As Cyanite realizes that they actually probably still lose that 2v2 and backs up. A little bit of a golden fusion going over to the side of Apes Together Strong. They're still 12,000 gold behind. Their base has been cracked open. Devraga and Shadeslayer get a little greedy to try to end right on the spot, but there's no neutrals up. If there was ever a time to get over aggressive, it was right then. And I think that after that little bit of a misstep, eBROS probably says, okay, whoops, never mind. We're not going to throw this. We just gave up our immortal status in bot lane. Only Jelly Roll's still immortal. Somebody's got to live to see this one out. I think they just slow it back down and wait to end the game again with either the Dragon Soul or the Baron buff, or a fight around either of those objectives.
Yeah, so it's going to be another reset. It's going to be some more time that's spent in the jungle, spent in the lanes, kind of looking at each other, saying, I'm going to hit you really hard in a couple minutes.
Yeah, ATS has to look for a play, but there really isn't one. Short of them landing a chain of Ash Arrow and Sejuani Ultimate onto Twitch and managing to kill him without their whole backline dying to Fizz and Jelly Roll, there's just nothing for them to do. The lack of a front line isn't affecting eBROS because they're so far ahead that they can just continue to farm jungles and wait.
Lux gets caught out here, but they're going to have another re-engage from the Wukong. Scrambles is also falling down as well. Swain ulti going out is going to just keep kind of rocking, but Twitch gets a turret there. They're trying to get some extra money. They do get an okay pick here. They do get a couple picks where they can, and Apes Together Strong are just doing whatever they can just to breathe at this moment.
But the problem is they managed to go 2 for 1, which is great for Apes Together Strong, but they're still losing turrets. They're still losing their wave. They're still losing their entire jungle to eBROS. And so even with the kill advantage lessening the pressure on them a little bit, eBROS still actually winds up taking more gold out of that trade. And the Dragon's looking to spawn soon here. The Baron's up. eBROS is going to look to make a play around one of these big neutral objectives and force a big team fight. And without a really lucky series of events, Apes Together Strong just doesn't have a way to win that team fight.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult for them to... They might even just bait it. They might take the fight and they say, all right, now let's just go. They Rise ultimate going out, but no one's going to be showing up. They see where the Fizz is. They're going to try and catch that, but are not going to be looking for that. Scrambles is going to trying to get himself in a position where, Sejuani's in a lot of damage, and they have to retreat, but they have to make a risky play. They're really forced in a position where they can't do anything, and the Sejuani falls down to the Gangplank ultimate, going into the center, taking that extra damage, and then walking out, and then she's just unable to move. That's going to be a free dragon on the side of eBROS. They have Ocean Soul. They're going to look for another engage. They're going to be going onto the Ash. Ash gets exploded. Vel'Koz's ultimate going out, and they're trying to look for more. The Swain's going to be ulting, trying to get onto the face, trying to get onto the Twitch there, but it's not going to be enough. There goes the Scrambled ultimate going up and down, getting 3 members of the enemy team. There goes the Swain. Are they going to try for more? They're going in for another flash. So Gangplank's going to try and see if he can grab the Gangplank and Rise, fall to one another. And Twitch cleaning up this team, cleaning up the Ace. Fizz and Twitch are going to be looking for an inhibitor into a potentially another turret. Or they could just do a reset, playing it safe, playing it slow. Let's see what happens.
eBROS making the overly cautious play here. They probably could have ended, but they didn't want to risk it. And so they're going to fall back, take the whole jungle, and reset for Baron, I think. But Randomonium, with a little bit of a rough path there, gets caught a couple of times by Shadeslayer's Qs and blown up before a fight even can occur, leaving a free dragon for Scrambles. But Apes Together Strong then thinks that they can take the fight 4v4, hoping that more people are down at the dragon that Scrambles is soloing, and they wind up losing their ADC to the Twitch. Scrambles finishes the dragon soul and is able to flank from behind, really just trying to make things happen, but eBROS taking the high percentage plays across the map for the most part, and taking advantage of the rough pathing by the frontline tank of Apes Together Strong, just further making it absolutely impossible to kill this Twitch. Like, how do you kill a 9-in-1 Twitch with 4 items and an Ocean Soul? the ways back into this game just continue to disappear and slip away as eBROS is content to just wait and play the boa constrictor game, suffocating Apes Together Strong out of this game slowly, knowing that, yeah, scaling is against them a little bit as the game goes endlessly, but there's no way for them to lose their 14,000 gold lead.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's really hard to play it out. It's really hard to see what's going to be happening next, and you're going to see probably a Baron into an end situation. eBROS really just want to take the W here, but they still have to play it a little bit safe because getting too many picks, making a throw play could really end a lot of situations with set timers getting longer and longer.
eBRO's just doing a really good job identifying that they don't have a good engage or a good go button, but if they wait for neutral objectives, they can force Apes Together Strong to walk up into them like
There goes
this.
the Gangplank ultimate into a nice Lux ultimate, and they are going to be grabbing this Wayne. They are going to be grabbing this Adwani. The Fizz is going to be going in, going to be getting the Nom Noms onto the eyeball there. Down goes the Rise. That's going to be almost all the members except for Ashe there. I don't think there's going to be a way for her to defend the base. I think eBROS are going to be taking the victory, taking the W, and taking the division.
And just for a note on our minigame, 2 needlessly large rods looks like a death cap coming out of the Shade Slayer.
Tipping the hat to the enemy team. Yeah, it does not look like spooky staff.
No. Which I'm glad for. But congratulations, eBROS, on a spectacular 2-win run to take the championship after dropping game 1. Well fought by Apes Together Strong, but I think that somebody needed to come through and tell them after game 2 not to keep their pick and ban phase the same. I don't know if they were just that scared of Jelly Roll or if they were that scared of a set coming through, but the Volibear brand set bans in all 3 games really didn't do them any favors in that 3rd game.
Really well performed by eBROS. They are really flexing their muscles in their laning phase there and then snowballing into the later stages of this game. Really well performed, really interesting games to watch, and a lot of blood everywhere. There's blood all over the walls. But GG eBROS. Congratulations on your division championship here for Season 3. Good job. And Cage, take it away with the final remarks and MVP Ace, as well as signing us off for the night.
Yeah, so I think that it's kind of hard to pick an ace for Apes Together Strong. They kind of were just in a bad spot almost all game. I have to give my ace to King Majora on the Swain in the mid lane, because even though he was struggling into the Fizz, he was the only person who was ever even really positive or equal in a gold graph. eBROS kind of just ran over all of the lanes again. My MVP for that game, and also my MVP for the entire series, is Devraga. The hyper carry ADC coming through on the side of eBROS in all 3 games, really providing the groundwork for them to win all of these games. I mean, you shouldn't see a Twitch getting early kills with a Doran's Shield. And yet in back-to-back games, we have the Twitch picking up kills with a Doran's Shield. I also have to give MVP to whoever figured out the drafts and ban phase for eBROS, because they really made those 3 bans work for them. They banned Vladimir in the first game, realized that Amumu was a huge problem, and they banned Amumu first in the next 2 games, identify that it's either Vladimir or Ashe that they have to ban out next, and they force Apes Together Strong to pick either the Vladimir or the Ashe. Really, really good pick and ban management for them, especially with their handicap in it. And Apes Together Strong kind of just failing to adapt. All 3 games, red side for Apes Together Strong and blue side for eBROS, so there was clearly a preference there by both teams to one side versus the other. And just not seeing the counter picks by Apes Together Strong come in clutch in the second 2 games. In the first game, they counter pick with the Lux support, and it goes excellently. In the second and third game, they counter pick with the Diana and the Rise, and neither one of those picks ever really got off the ground. eBROS, GG Bros, you guys killed it. Great season. Congratulations on being the champions. Devronga, you are my finals MVP. Excellent job. And it's been a pleasure casting with you, Ryder. It's been a pleasure casting this season, as I believe that this is both of our last games casting this season until we see you all next season. GG, eBROS are Noxian champions, and y'all have a great day.
Have a good one, folks.